Hello and welcome everybody. Today I'm reviewing Sardar Udham. The film has been directed by the wonderful Mr. Shoojit Sircar and it stars Mr. Vicky Kaushal in the title role. The film chronicles the events in the life of Shahid-e-Azam Udham Singh and his stance of revolution against the imperialist British government. The psychology that led him to London's Caxton Hall and assassinating General Dyer by firing 6 bullets onto his chest, and finally, death by hanging at the gallows. दोस्तों, ये फिल्म एक ऐसी फिल्म बनी है जिसकी आज के दौर की किसी भी बॉलीवुड फिल्म के साथ कोई भी मामसलात या मेल नहीं है. The film is absolutely outstanding. It is an exceptional piece of creativity that has come out from Bollywood in the recent times. Unfortunately, we do not really get to see this amount of work as far as writing is concerned, research is concerned. बायोपिक्स तो बहुत सारे बनते हैं, बहुत सारे रियल इवेंट्स के ऊपर कहानियां बनती हैं, बट उन फिल्मों में ओपनिंग स्लाइड्स पे ही इतनी बड़ी गलती दिखती है मुझको. पता नहीं लोगों को दिखती होगी कि नहीं. व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग अ बायोपिक, आप किसी की जिंदगी की घटनाओं के ऊपर आप फिल्म बना रहे हैं, तो व्हेन यू राइटिंग द फिल्म इज इंस्पायर्ड बाय अ रियल स्टोरी. फर्स्टली, जब एक रियलिटी के ऊपर फिल्म बनाते हैं तो एक घटना होती है, उस घटना के ऊपर आप फिल्म बनाते हैं, तो इट्स एन इवेंट दैट इज हैपनिंग, इट इज नॉट अ स्टोरी. Many slides say the beginning slides of a film that is actually a biopic or a film that has been inspired by a true event, for that matter, it says inspired by a real story. Firstly, a story cannot be real. A story is always fictitious. It is always made up. Events are real, so it's inspired by true events. And in this film, the very first slide you get to see inspired by real events, and that actually kind of planted my belief that the film is really going to be good. जब ग्रामर का ही तुमको आइडिया नहीं है, इंग्लिश ग्रामर का, and you're writing a film and you're directing a film, you kind of understand the kind of film that you're going to see. I mean, I'm not saying all the films who have wrong English, who have glitches as far as grammar is concerned is bad. But yes, this film definitely makes sure that they put their mind and they put their attention to that little detail. And that's commendable. Beyond that, the film is an exceptional piece of writing. This kind of writing can be seen coming from a person who is well literate as far as cinema is concerned. And obviously, the writer is a Bengali. The film has been written by Shubhendu Bhattacharya, and the film has been directed by Mr. Shoojit Sircar. And hence we see, the film has actually made me emotional to such an extent from within that while watching the film, I could not hold on to my emotions. Vicky Kaushal as the leading man has done a swell job. He's always good in his work. He's wonderful in as far as his acting prowess is concerned. He's kind of proved that time and again with the varied roles that he's been a part of over the years. And in this film again, he proves his mettle. He shows that he's really a versatile actor. लेकिन इस फिल्म में एक्टिंग से भी ज्यादा सिनेमेटोग्राफी, इस फिल्म में एक्टिंग से भी ज्यादा राइटिंग और डायरेक्शन, इन 3 स्तंभों पर ऐसा काम किया हुआ है that you will, it's almost impossible to kind of pinpoint any fault or any issue with it. And that's the best part of it. Because when the writing is sloppy, when the direction is not quite taut, you don't really, वो मजा होता है फिल्म देखने का, वो मजा नहीं आता. Everything is well researched, even though there are many manuscripts pertaining to Sardar Udham Singh that have not yet been released officially by the British government, and every little detail about his life has been delved into, has been wonderfully researched, and that is what is likable about the film. Besides that, पूरे film में, the usage of dialogues, the way the sequences have been put in place, almost non-linear editing, straightforward narrative nahi hai. It's almost, going back and forth into time. That definitely is very appealing to certain audiences. But in this film, it has been used in a wonderful way, where thought processes are intertwined with the screenplay, as in how a person thinks in a certain point, किस तरह से वो back and forth जाता रहता है अपनी जिंदगी के timeline के ऊपर. That is wonderfully showcased in the film. सबसे बड़ी बात, इस फिल्म को समझने के लिए हिंदुस्तानी इतिहास का ज्ञान होना, थोड़ा बहुत जानकारी रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है. You have to know what was Bengal famine, how the Britishers were scared of the Nazis, and how revolutionaries of that era actually wanted to take advantage of that. What was the role that was played by Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini? What is communism? How did communism suddenly impact the British Empire? A slight idea of all of these things, a slight knowledge of all of these things have to be there to wholesomely cross the film. It's very necessary. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre was the main psychology that drove Sardar Udham Singh to do what he did, and the fact that that event played a major role in his psyche was put forth in such a wonderful, poetic manner, I'd say, that no other film prior to this particular film has ever done that. जहाँ तक इंडिया का सवाल आता है, इंडिया का फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल का सवाल आता है, बहुत कम ऐसे फिल्म बने हैं जो पार्टीशन को दर्शाता है, जो जलियांवाला बाग मैसेकर को दर्शाता है in its truest form. And this film is definitely one of those films. Whenever such films come to the fore, whenever we talk about such films, it actually pulls at my heartstrings personally, because I somehow am very emotionally connected, even though I was not really born even at that point in time. But I don't know why it really, pulls me towards, the viewing screens. It's something which really is very, very intriguing as far as I am concerned personally. Again, one film prior to this particular film that was again based on the partition of India and that had impacted me a lot is 1947 Earth, the film that stars Nandita Das, Rahul Khanna and Amir Khan in the lead roles and was directed by Deepa Mehta. और उस फिल्म के बाद अगर भारत में, बॉलीवुड में कोई फिल्म बनी है on an event that transpired during the British India struggle, freedom struggle, I would say this film is perhaps one of the most poignant ones out of them all. जैसे कि मैंने पहले भी कहा, इस फिल्म को पूरी तरह से समझने के लिए उस दौर के इतिहास को जानना, उस दौर के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत जानकारी रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप बिल्कुल भी इमोशंस के साथ कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे. That will happen, but in a very half-baked manner. The thing is, आजकल की जनरेशन का, जिस जनरेशन का मैं भी एक हिस्सा हूँ, उस जनरेशन में टी सीरीज में कौन सा नया गाना आ रहा है, लोग उसके बारे में पता रखते हैं. जिनको कैमरा चलाना नहीं आता, वो लोग DSLR फोटोग्राफी, इंस्टाग्राम और फेसबुक बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है. People don't really have depth in them. You do not. I'm really thankful to my parents that I have got the genes, that I like quality cinema. I like art, the cream of it, and not any rubbish that is piloted in front of me. I have been an admirer of world cinema, and I can say this with absolute guarantee that this film definitely is worth being a part of the library amongst the topmost films of the world. And by world cinema, once again I reiterate myself, I do not mean Hollywood. I mean Korean films, I mean Japanese films, I mean Iranian films. The topmost cream, I'm talking about proper filmmaking and not ढिंचक नाच गाना. कोई police officer or कोई मतलब आता माजी सटक ले, none of those crap. I'm not talking about all of that. I'm talking about meaningful cinema. Cinema which is predominantly an art form. Let's come back to the cinematography part of it. The teal and orange color palette throughout the film is wonderful. Again, that visually really impacted me a lot, and it has elevated the quality of the film on a different level altogether. When you watch the film, you're going to understand what I'm saying. I need to talk about the sheer rawness with which the Jallianwala Bagh massacre was showcased on screen in the film. Now, when I say that the direction and the writing are the two most important parts in the film, what I mean to say is that when you're watching a particular scene, a gut-wrenching scene of a young man who's almost just 17 years old and he's hurling his way somehow through corpses, thousands and thousands of them, in an absolutely shell-shocked manner. कोशिश करके जो भी उसमें जख्मी हैं, जो भी मरे नहीं हैं, जो भी जख्मी है, किसी भी तरह से उनको एक हाथ गाड़ी में डालकर उन्हें खींच के अस्पताल लेके जाना ताकि उनका तीमारदारी हो सके, इलाज हो सके. That scene is so emotionally charged in such a raw manner that only if you watch the film you will get to know what I mean when I say the writing and the direction have just outdone everything else in the film. It is so treacherous, so bloody, so real, so raw that at least in Indian cinema, I haven't seen something so horrendously moving. And now, when I'm talking about outstanding and exceptional writing in the film, I'm also talking about dialogues. जिस किस्म की डायलॉग्स हैं, सुन के ऐसा नहीं लगेगा कि आप किसी फिल्म के डायलॉग सुन रहे हैं, बना बनाया, जबरदस्ती का. All of it is so natural, and yet it really leaves an effect, a long-lasting effect, even after you finished watching the film. एक डायलॉग मैं यहाँ पर कहना चाहूँगा, जहाँ सरदार उधम सिंह जेल में बैठे हुए हैं और उन्हें फांसी का सजा सुनाया दिया जाता है, and he's sitting in the jail languishing. और जेल का जो ऑफिसर है, जो he's a British officer and he's pretty understanding. He knows it for a fact that वो terrorist नहीं है. Sardar Udham Singh is not a terrorist, as the other Britishers and the British judge have labelled him to be. Comes to visit Udham Singh in his cell where he's imprisoned. और उधम सिंह उन्हें कहते हैं, जब मैं 18 साल का था तब मेरे गांधी जी ने मुझसे कहा कि पुत्र, जवानी रब का दिया हुआ एक तोहफा है और अब ये तेरे ऊपर है कि तू इस तोहफे को ज़ाया कर दे या इसे कोई मतलब देता है. पूछूंगा उनसे, मेरी जवानी का कोई मतलब बना ये ज़ाया कर दी. After that, the officer asks him, Can I do something for you? तो वो कहते हैं, Yes, tell people I was a revolutionary. And then there is a moment of silence. Dialogues में, especially उम्दा dialogue writing में, कहाँ पर अल्फाज देनी है, कहाँ पर साइलेंस रखनी है, all of these have to be kept in mind. Unfortunately, आजकल के फिल्म्स बस शुरू होता है, ख़त्म होता है, कोई क्रिएटिविटी नहीं है, बस 4-5 गाने डाल दो, 2-3 एक्शन सीक्वेंसेस डाल दो, और मतलब everything is just very fast these days. Unfortunately, those films don't really stand a chance. It would not really be an exaggeration to state that this film is one such film that can be sent to the Oscars. ये इतनी अच्छी फिल्म बनी है मेरे हिसाब से. When we're talking about the direction, as I said, the direction is always taught, and it was very, very crisp and wonderfully directed film. This is one film that I can hands down say doesn't quite require any star markings at all as far as the review is concerned. But since it has been a convention to give star ratings to a film, I would say it is a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would want everybody to go and watch this film because this is a must-watch film. If you've liked this review, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to tap on the notification bell. This is Sandeep with DigiHunt signing off.